기자부대 Hamon the beat!
This month we saw the release of the first ever issue of the JoJo Magazine, a collection of all kinds of JoJo related media and articles. The magazine was released in celebration of JoJo's 35th anniversary. As a whole, it's 232 pages, making this a really sizable chunk of content. In this video, I'll be going over everything that was included in the spring 2022 issue, as well as any future JoJo related announcements coming up. First, we have the cover of the issue, with a new illustration of Jolene and Jotaro drawn by Araki. The early pages of the issue also have some of Araki's sketches while making this piece. Then we have a multi-page lineup of all the protagonists of the series. Next we have the new Thus Spoke Shibe Rohan chapter titled Hot Summer Martha. This chapter is 71 pages, making this the longest Rohan chapter other than Rohan at the Louvre. It also features the return of Rohan's editor Azumi, who was originally only shown in the chapter Millionaire Village. She later made multiple appearances in the live-action TV drama. This chapter is definitely the thing I was most excited for with the release of the magazine. Once the chapter is translated later this week, I'll be going more in-depth on it in its own separate chapter review. Next we get another multi-page lineup, this time with all of the series' main villains. This is also the first time we've gotten to see Toru listed alongside the other series villains. The next page is dedicated to the Ripple, going over all of its various properties. Then we have one of the new short stories titled Rey Infinito, which translates to English as Infinity King. This is a story set between parts 2 and 3 focused on Lisa, where she has an encounter with a stand user. It's set in 1973, taking place in Guatemala, with Lisa now the head of the Speedwagon Foundation. The story is written by Junjo Shindo, a novelist who has made tie-in novels to other manga series such as Gantz. This is his first ever contribution to JoJo, which he is known to be a big fan of. The short story also features a brand new illustration of Lisa drawn by Araki. I'll be going over this as well as the other short story in their own video. An interview with Shindo himself is also featured immediately after the story. The next page has a biography of Speedwagon, as well as information on the Speedwagon Foundation's role in the series, including their appearance in the Lisa story. Next is an article talking about Last Survivor, the JoJo-themed battle royale game that is currently exclusive to Japanese arcades. The article also shows off Jolene, the newest character to have been added to the game. Next we have an article on the JoJo anime, going over the history of the adaptation and featuring interviews with various crew members. Then we have a recap of the Joestar The Inherited Soul event from April of 2021, which featured the first announcement of the Stone Ocean anime and the debut of Fyro's Ai as Jolene. This is followed with an interview of Fyro's as well as Daisuke Ono, the voice actor of Jolene's father Jotaro. Then an interview with Kenichi Suzuki, the series director of the JoJo anime. Next we have an article detailing the creation of a custom Rohan-themed mawashi worn by the professional sumo wrestler Shimanomi Koyo. Next is a lengthy interview with Issei Takahashi, the actor that portrayed Rohan in the Thus Spoke Shibe Rohan TV drama. Then we have an article going over the fashion of JoJo characters throughout the series. The next page, titled A Little Bizarre Doggy Parade, is a column featuring all of the dogs that have appeared in the JoJo series, including the newest dog from the Rohan chapter named Bakin. Next is the other short story from this issue, titled Iggy the Stray Dog. It focuses on the fight between Iggy and Avdol that took place in New York City shortly before Part 3. The story also gets into the backstories of Iggy and Avdol, such as talking about Avdol's parents and details from the 6-Day War in Egypt, and Iggy's past where he is adopted by a wealthy man named Mr. Electra and runs away. It is written by Otsuichi, the author of the JoJo novel The Book, Fourth Another Day, which was a sequel to Part 4. Like the other short story, this one also features a new illustration by Araki showing Iggy and Avdol. I'll also be going over the details of this story in a separate video once it is translated, alongside the Lisa one. An interview with Otsuichi is also present after the story. Finally, we have an article about a reunion between Araki and Ryosuke Kawashima, his first editor. He worked with Araki throughout his early career, starting with his first ever published work, Poker Under Arms. He continued as Araki's editor from parts 1 to 3 of JoJo until transferring to another magazine. The article features a conversation between the two. And that's everything that has been featured in this issue of the JoJo Magazine. Overall, this was a great treat and gave us a ton of new material. Initially, I wondered if this would be an ongoing thing or just a one-off release. However, on the final page of the magazine, we can see the JoJo to be continued sign, possibly telling us that we'll get another issue in the future. The fact that this is also called the Spring 2022 issue may indicate others coming later. For the new chapter and the short stories, I'll be going over them in detail in upcoming videos once they have been fully translated. This month turned out to be big for JoJo, with not only a new Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak chapter, but also this issue of the JoJo Magazine and the new stories that came with it. However, we still aren't done yet, since later this month on March 26th we'll be seeing the Stone Ocean anime featured on a Netflix Japan stream. Whether this will have the announcement of the next batch of episodes is unknown. However, I find it extremely likely to be the case. Back in January, the Stone Ocean anime began airing on TV in Japan. This month it will be reaching the 12th episode, catching up to the Netflix release. Some thought that this would mean that the 13th episode would debut in the next TV broadcast on April 1st. However, it appears that another show is filling in Stone Ocean's time slot at that time. So most likely we'll be getting the announcement of the next batch of Netflix episodes, followed by another TV broadcast of those episodes at a later time. Once we have the announcement, I'll definitely be going over the news on my channel, as well as making another differences video once the batch is released. April is also shaping up to be another important month. Alongside the next Demonic Heartbreak chapter, we've also gotten an announcement of yet another chapter of Thus Spoke Ushibe Rohan. This one will be published in Ultra Jump, making this the second time recently that there have been two separate JoJo chapters in one issue. The previous time was in December, with the first Crazy Diamond chapter and the Fujiko one-shot. This upcoming Rohan chapter is titled Drip Painting Style Part 1. This is interesting, since it's the first time ever that we'll be getting a multi-part chapter for a Rohan story. Hopefully part 2 of that chapter will come soon after, maybe even the very next month in Ultra Jump. There's also the upcoming 9th part of JoJo titled JoJo Lands. We still haven't had any news about it, and I suspect that we won't be hearing anything until these next two Rohan chapters are out. With the release of the JoJo Magazine as well as all of these other announcements, right now is a very good time to be a JoJo fan. Keep up with the channel in the near future, since I'll be making videos going over all of the newly released chapters, as well as the upcoming ones next month. If you want to receive updates on new videos and chapters or leave suggestions, join the Hamon Beat Discord using the link in the description. To receive rewards like Discord perks and some uncut videos, you can support the channel on Patreon. And finally, for future videos, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. This is the part of the video where I thank my $5 and up patrons. Thank you to Tony, the Owl God, Keo, Alex Ramirez, Doorbell, Monkman, Ashton Joseph Miller, Crayon, Jesper Jansen, Rigo Vids, Zukato, Shane Giger, Sentai, Pumpkin Doge, Marrow, Bailey Smile, Ali, Almighty Quarth, Oof, PBA SVG, Cowrie, Jojo Agogo, Toby Nocturne, and Tucker Gold.